What's up YouTube? Ian Sandusky back here again for Let's Machine. Today on Shop Talk, we're going to be talking about when the best time to get new technology in your shop is. In this business, as you know if you've worked in it for any length of time, there's new technology coming out all the time. Right now there's cryogenic machining coming out where there's liquid nitrogen that goes right to the cutter. There's twin turret turning where you turn on one side, then the machine comes, grabs from the other side and turns on that side. Additive machining inside mills. I know Mazak's coming out with that right now. It gets overwhelming, trying to decide when you should buy a new machine and what you should buy. Essentially, in my opinion, and of course this is all just my own opinion on this, the question should never be what can you afford, but it should be what's going to give you either a capability that you don't currently have, that there is a market for, or an increased capacity that already can be filled almost immediately and consistently. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than getting a new machine or a new piece of technology or even new software and having no idea if there's a market for it locally. You buy a new laser engraving machine because you think it would be cool and a lot of people would use it. Well, you find out there's a market for it, but it's 10,000 miles away. That doesn't help you. For example, we almost bought a new mill turn machine. I have a Haas ST20 straight turning lathe here. We almost bought a mill turning machine instead. Well, we have a lot of business for straight turning. We have a lot of business for a mill. Had I bought a mill turn machine, I would have eaten up a whole bunch more capital, when realistically all I need is a straight turning machine that I can also take apart afterwards and do an operation in the mill in the 3-axis. Another example would be, should I buy a 5-axis? Everybody wants 5-axis, 5-axis, 5-axis. 5-axis is great, but if you don't have the market for 5-axis parts, you got to remember, most 5-axis machines, unless you're going to go real big and spend a ton of money, you can either get a 5-axis machine with a footprint this big, or you can get a 3-axis machine with 40 inches of travel, and 26 on the Y. Which one's going to be of more value to you in the long run? That's kind of what you need to figure out. There's a lot of shops right now with first and second generation 3D printers that I'm sure when they bought them thought that this was going to be the future. And is 3D printing, does that have applications coming up? For sure, absolutely it does. That being said, it's almost turned into more of a hobby industry at the moment because the technology just hasn't kept up. So you don't want to be one of those poor guys that got stuck with one of those machines. We have two machines out there. I have a Haas VF4 and a Haas VF3. One's a 96 and one's a 97, or might even be a 95. They both have the yellow and black screens. 3-axis, no probes, nothing on them. They work for us because we have consistent machine time on those. We have jobs constantly running through them. They've paid for themselves so many times over that now I can, afford to run those for a cheap price in terms of my cost per machining time. And they're already paid for. If I want to keep that thing running 24/7, I can. It doesn't need to be making $300 an hour in order for me to recoup my loss. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is the best way to buy a new machine in a small shop, follow a few rules. I go by 3. 1, make sure it adds a new capability. 2, make sure it can add capacity that can consistently be filled, whether it's a new capability or not. And 3, have a local market. Gotta have someone close by and a market for it in order to make that work. As a caveat, one thing that does work, we've done this before where you have a job come through where it's good enough that you'll add that capacity and add that kind of machine, and that first job you get for it helps pay for the machine to kind of help absorb some of that cost so you're not sitting there paying for it constantly. That works sometimes, but it's still risky. What if that one job that you buy that machine for comes and goes and there's nothing else locally? Some food for thought. Anyways, guys, again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like these videos. If you like these Shop Talk videos, I'd be more than happy to make them all the time. Thank you very much for coming by. You take care.